Hey, what's going on, world? Yo, this Andre here. Hopefully everybody watches. You having a beautiful day, and let's get right into it. Yo, listen. Last week, I missed a week from y'all, but I had an amazing and beautiful opportunity to work with a group called Hometown Heroes. Yeah, you only get this shirt if you're a counselor. But yeah, so I'm working with this group, and them just an awesome group. It's a camp, 7-day camp. Where kids come from all parts of the country. They literally fly kids out from Hawaii to come to this camp. Some of the kids came from Florida, from Texas, from Tennessee, everywhere. They come from everywhere to participate in this camp. And I'm up there with a few of my friends. One of my friends is the director of the whole facility. My friend Lewis, he came with me. And we're playing games. We're having a good time, y'all. And I'm watching the kids go crazy. And it broke my heart because they were having so much fun, I almost forgot the reason why we were even there, or this camp had been formed. As you know, in America, we send our military overseas to fight for us. And what happens is not all of them come home. What happens is some die in war. And God bless their soul. And what another thing is that happens that people don't talk too much about is that these soldiers, even when they do get the chance to come home, they've seen so many things overseas and experienced so many different losses and traumatic experiences that they develop post-traumatic stress. And they come back home and they can't live with the reality of right now. And some of them choose to take their own life. And this camp is full of kids. And each and every one of these kids that's dancing and playing is a child or a nephew or niece of a soldier that's passed away in warfare in some way, shape, or form. And this camp is special and is unique because it's a grief camp. And the kids come there and they have all the bells and whistles, so they get all the games, but they also get the counseling sessions. They also get the therapy dogs, which are like amazing. They get all of these different things. They get to parade around their fathers or their mothers or auntie or uncle's name. And these kids, they have so much pain inside of them because of losing a loved one. See, I don't think grief is when we make it. Grief is deep sorrow. But I believe grief is when you lose a part of you and you can't put it back. I think grief is when you lose a part of you and you can't get that piece back. And as we're there at this camp, I'm watching kids that are so small. They're little kids. They're 9 and 10 years old. And I'm watching them cry because of, the sadness, the grief of their father or mother being lost. And this kid, he cries so much that I didn't think the human body could even conjure up that amount of tears. He cried that hard that I didn't think it was even physically possible for a human to produce that many tears. And what I love about this camp is that these kids grieve, but it gives me hope and it shows me something that these kids are willing to do something that most adults aren't willing to do, and that's deal with their grief. And see, grief is not a hill. You can get over a hill. You don't get over grief. Grief is something that you wrestle with. And like I said, in my belief, I truly believe, I truly believe that grief is when you lose a part of you. A piece of you is gone and you can't get it back. And these kids have lost a father and they can't get that back. They've lost a mother and they can't get that back. And they spend the rest of their lives trying to wrestle with these things. And grief is something that it beats you some days. And some days you defeat it. But a lot of the adults I know, a lot of the communities that I work with, including my community, we have this preconceived notion that getting help, getting counseling, that going through therapy is taboo. And it's not. If you were to cut your arm right now and you were to be bleeding out, you would immediately put a Band-Aid on it. Or if it was deeper, you would immediately go to the emergency room, right? So why is it that when we're hurt because of the loss of a loved one, because of the loss of a child, or even a loss of a relationship, you don't just have to someone doesn't have to just pass away for you to grieve over them. You can grieve over a relationship that you don't have for the person anymore. And it puts that deep sorrow on you because a part of you is no longer here. What I'm asking you to do, if you're watching this, and you've gone through something like that, and you've been grieving, and it's beating you up, don't go through it alone. Get counseling. Go to someone who can help you with that. Because some of the things we face are issues that are bigger than us, and grief is just one of those things where you don't want to play with it because it takes people's lives. So I'm asking you, if you're going through a loss of a loved one, if you're going through the loss of a child, maybe a miscarriage, you're going through the loss of a friend that you're not as close as you used to be, and you're grieving of what could have been, I'm asking that you get counseling, because the grief is just one of those things, y'all. Listen, it's just one of those things that you just can't beat this on your own. You need some help with that. And I also want you to know that crying in the midst of grief, crying and yelling, that doesn't take away from your masculinity. It doesn't take anything away from you being a woman. It doesn't judge a character, it's just what you're going through. And if you're going through grief, I ask that you find the help that you need, whether that's inside of maybe a religious structure that you believe, maybe it's inside of meditation. I do really encourage therapy. I really encourage it. Or maybe it's an outlet where you can say these things and how you feel in a safe place. But you're too special, you're too important to not take care of yourself. So if you're grieving, I'm praying for you, and I mean that with all my heart. But I'm asking that you do something about it too. And that might be counseling, therapy. Maybe that's the right direction for you. But if you're grieving, I love you. You are not alone. I am grieving. A lot of us are, and we're doing it silently. And maybe we need to speak up about it. Hey, God be with you. And I hope wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you're having a beautiful night. And hey, shout out to Hometown Heroes for all the beautiful work you do.